Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday Q&A. Got a fair amount to get through today, so let's get cracking, shall we? Right, first of all, the multi-drop thing. That kind of got a lot of responses. Steve Bradley, he says he's on a multi-drop at the moment. 21 drops, 44 times, presumably different amounts to different places, 16 kilo bags of flour. All the same. Now, this makes a hell of a difference because it means that you can basically, you don't have to go ratchet around for each parcel. You just need a quantity. I've done it before when I've done the Tesco's, where we've had to deliver the chairs. And the guy turned around to me and said, all of these chairs are the same. They might have different barcodes on for different stores, but as long as you deliver the right quantity to the right Tesco's, it doesn't matter which ones they get because they're all the same chair. It does make a difference. I've tried something this week with yesterday with the Argos, and I'm gonna do a video on that, but I've got so much to get through. I think I might have made a little bit of a breakthrough. Anyway, Addy Alex says, what is the proper day's rate for 60 to 80 drops? I would say they're probably going to be looking to pay you around about 180 to £200 in a long wheelbase. We're getting 180. We do 40 drops, but we do stores as well. And we're in Luton's, but when we got the job, they didn't require Luton's. We just happened to have Luton's, although that has made my life a bit easier. We'll come up with that one, do the Argos, but I reckon you're looking for about 180 to 200. That's probably what they're looking to pay for that. Our case is multi-drop is not too painful if you get a regular run. This is something else I'm discovering. The more I do the Argos, the more I go to that block of flats, the more I go, oh, yeah, I've been there before. Oh, what the numbers out on that? It's getting easier. So I think, we're supposed to do our last one today, ours on it today. But I think they're going to give us a rolling contract. They're going to keep us for as long as we need. In fact, I spoke to the guy who's in charge, and he said they're recruiting another 2 drivers with another 2 vans. And I said, well, does that mean you won't need us anymore? He said, no, we want another 2 drivers, another 2 vans, and you. He said, but that will drop you from doing like 40 a day down to 30 a day, which will make your life easier. Until, of course, we get let go. SFJ says, what app for multi-drop routes? Yeah, this might come up again. I recommend, I think it's called Route Master. I'll do a little link as soon as I finish the video, as soon as it's uploaded. So I've done a video on it before. You can do up to 8 for free, and then after that you have to subscribe. But of all the ones I know, I think it's the best one and probably the cheapest one with a subscription. If anyone knows one that is better or cheaper or both, please let me know. I'll give it a bash, and if it's better, I'll pass it on. Yeah, Gareth Vicker says a multi-drop. Yeah, absolutely. Adrian McGrath says, yeah, he's got a lot of drivers out doing up north, and he says they're doing very tight postcodes. He says like Edinburgh Town Centre type thing, or Edinburgh City Centre, rather. He said they can do 20 to 30 drops an hour. I average 10 in a good hour, but my drops are 2 minutes to the next drop, 5 minutes to the next drop, one round the corner, 6 minutes to the next drop. If you've got 4 in the same street, it's kind of like one drop. So, bing, 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 bing. And if you've got it proper organised, this is what seems to be coming to the thing. As Ganesh Basira said, he said he was called in on a multi-drop for a 2.4 metre van. It was clear as soon as they got there they needed a 3 metre van to get the stuff on. He said there was no route plan, missing parcels. He said he spent 20 minutes looking for a parcel that wasn't there. Different firms work different ways. I'm happy with the Argos. I did the parcel force. It was fine, but I just didn't want to do that many drops. It's kind of like it's a chore. Yeah, like I say, I would say if you're going to take on a multi-drop, take it on for a day, try it. And if they ring you up and they say you want it on a rolling contract, if you like it, say yes, and if you don't, you don't. Ultimately, though, as Paul Wilkes says, none of this is Amazon. He was on 300 drops a day sometimes. I'm doing farms, I was doing dirt tracks for £135 a day. It's just simply not worth it. Steve O'Connell says he's going to give Road Warrior a go. Like I say, there will be a link earlier on if you want to give it a bash, mate. Who was it who turned around and said, I think it might have been Paul Wilkes, one of them. He said he basically lost 4 stone. He said his wife wasn't doing it. He said his wife wanted him to go to the doctors because she couldn't believe he was seriously ill. And ultimately, like I say, some of these multi-drops aren't the best, but I think the general consensus is they're a lot less stressed than Amazon. I'm not saying Amazon is bad. There are a lot of drivers out there. I meet them on the road. You meet them all the time now, and they're doing Amazon, and they're fine with it kind of, okay, well, I got out a bit late today, but hopefully be done by about 5. And they know what they're doing. And I suppose it's a bit like being a postman. And I imagine Amazon have got it sorted. I imagine they've probably got the best route planner in the world, because the amount of money that company makes, and that is what they do. But for me personally, while the thing is going on, I've actually said to Al, I said, if he wants to do 4 days a week on the Argos, I'll do 3 days a week on the Argos, because that way he actually gets 1 day off, 2 days off together, and he might actually get a day off at the weekend, because if he gets days off during the week, his wife's working because she's in the office. So, yeah, we just have to see. But I'm kind of cool with the Argos at the moment. So, but I'll let you know. I'll be in there next week. So, Wednesday is that. Right, fuel prices. Now, this, of course, is, I'm trying to do a video on Saturdays about fuel prices. Firstly, let me say thank you very much for everyone who's contributed. If I didn't get to mention you, it's because this is still a bit of a work in progress. I'm still quite sure where it's going. But this is the kind of the feedback on the fuel prices video. A couple of questions. First of all, the question, basically, I hammered through it. Lee Westcott says, are the prices before VAT? Yes. My prices come in before that. So when I get a price of 90p and Asda's is £1.10, the first thing I've got to work out is £1.10. That's 21. If I take the VAT off, that's 20p off that. £1.10, that's 90p. It's the same thing. The only thing about doing it with a fuel card is, rather than doing it over the Asda pump, if I do it on the Asda pump, I've got to get the receipt. I've got to put the receipt in the QuickBooks. I don't know how to do that. If I do it with a fuel card, it comes through as a price, and it goes bang into QuickBooks. So it's an easy way to get the VAT back. But yeah, am I much better off? And also, I'm getting BP fuel rather than Asda fuel, and there is an argument that says that BP fuel has got better additives in it, which will make your engine last longer. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, it is before that. Another thing is, Steve Bradley asked, he said, what's the difference? What's a bunker and a non-bunker? They'll often give you 2 prices. They'll give you, like, and it's weird how the way it works, because motorway service stations are always more expensive than normal. You know, if you're filling up a motorway service station, it's £1.50 a litre rather than like £1.20. But if you get a fuel card, they call them bunker stations, which means we used to get 2 prices. If you fill up with a BP around town, you get 93p, or like, say, back in the day it was like 97p. But if you fill up in the BP on the motorway, you get 93p, because that's what they call a bunker station. They're geared up for trucks, they're geared up for people like us, so they give it cheaper. I think, as usual, I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is as I understand it. But now, for some reason, we don't get a bunker price anymore. We just get one price. What happened there? I don't know. Maybe through this, might get to the bottom of it. Who knows? Anyway, that was the 2 that I should have hammered through. Mark Jones says, is there anywhere to get AdBlue cheap? Now, this is where I love this channel. Martin Ellis has put a thing through. He apparently sent me an email back in December, but, well, Martin, I'm sorry. Could you send me again, or send me a text message, or ring me maybe tomorrow? I'm trying to have a day off today. After this, of course. My number is 07970 723 884. If anyone wants to ring me, just ring me 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. Outside of those, I'm either, and if I don't answer, the chances are I'm dropping, and I will get back to you. You know, but yeah, if you can, because he sells 10 litres dead cheap. So it'd be dead handy if we can get a link to Martin, or get you guys that need the AdBlue link to Martin. He'll get some money because he'll be selling his AdBlue. You guys will get cheaper AdBlue. Everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth. What else have we got? Mr. Shah says, are there any cars for petrol? Well, all I know is when we signed up for Key Fuels, they said, do you want petrol on your as well as diesel? And we said no, because that means the drivers could take their cars and fill them up, although that didn't work out so well anyway. But yeah, normally when you go on the fuels thing, you ring them up and they'll say, do you want just diesel or diesel and petrol? Yeah, so you can put it all on if you like, I suppose. Both different companies, different ways, but this is something hopefully through time we'll get to the bottom of. RK says, with the fuel prices, he said it's always a callback thing. It strikes me that you have to fight them every week, and I kind of find that frustrating. Just give me the best price. Why have I got to keep ringing you back? As Cloudy Courier says, he says, fuel card's great at first. He says, my fuel card is now £1.10. I'm hoping that's with the VAT. He said, stick with Fuel Genie. Guys, what do we know about Fuel Genie? Is that the one that go to the supermarket and, you fill up at Tesco's and Asda's and you get the points? Because I know my mate, Simple Brian, I think he had one. Yeah, I want to isolate some cards. I want to spotlight a few cards because I think there's so many out there. I think the way it might go is we can target about 5 or 6 cards, which were generally the ones that are used, and we can see who's getting what prices on. I mean, Key Fuels is the one we use. I think it's Key Fuels. UK Fuels is the one we use. So it might be UK Fuels, Key Fuels, maybe SO, maybe not SO, maybe Shell, the ones that we use the most, and see who's getting what on these prices. And then, like I say, if you're within a penny or two, you might go, okay. But if you're like way out, then it might be time to give them a ring and go, what's going on? So anyway, but I like to say, I'll see how it works out. I'm still not sure how it's going to go. Oh, it was Paul Egerton who was on the Amazon. For some reason, it's still right in the middle of Key Fuels. But he's on the CX now and he's happy. I'm pleased you are, mate. Sorry. Ian Merritt says, is it worth talking to a price comparison site or Martin Lewis or something like that about this fuel card thing? I think the difficulty with those is they don't focus on things that change on a weekly basis. They might think but I could try out. Anyone's got Martin Lewis's phone number, I'll give him a bell. I don't know how to do it. I don't do many things, but we'll see. It's possibly a good idea. And as Jason Burke says, he says, surely if you spend a lot more money with them, you're getting a better price. Now, yeah, I think that has to be taken into consideration. But my mate Daniel with the curtain side, he's only got one van. I think he's got a maximum of 3 vans if they're in it together, or he drives on his own, and he was getting like 10p a litre cheaper than me. So yes and no. I think I want is how much we hassle them, which is kind of what I thought. If we could do this video channel, we wouldn't have to hassle them. If they all knew that everybody within a certain radius knew what everyone else was getting, if there's transparency. And there is another guy did make the point. He says, they might pull the plug on you if they find out that you're giving them prices. But what are you going to do then? Say, okay, fine, I'll go somewhere else. It's not like it's not like you can't get somewhere else. So I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Might work, it might not. I'm just trying. I hope it helps. I hope it helps me. I hope we get cheaper diesel. I hope it helps you. If it doesn't, we're abandoning it to do something else. The FORS thing. Right, getting to the bottom of the FORS thing. My mate Paul Forster, who is still working on that spreadsheet thing, which he's going to need people to beta test. But when he's got it up and running, I'll do a video and we'll find some people and we'll work it out. He's going through the FORS at the moment because he's got a fleet. He's got 2 trucks going to Amazon and all that, and he's looking at the CX and all kinds of. He's doing all kinds of things. It's not the van that's FORS accredited; it's the fleet. So I always thought it was how shiny a van was and how the brakes work. But no, apparently, and according to LG I'm sorry, mate, Cutchion. I'm sorry, I'm rubbish, I can't write. There's the 3 categories with the FORS. There's the bronze, the silver and the gold. He said there's a lot of paperwork to do, a lot of tests, online testing type thing. He said it's expensive and it's just like an accreditation. So I suppose like with the removal people, see the removal vans and they've got bar removals written. And it's just one of those things that they will charge you for so that customers go, oh, look, he's FORS accredited, he must be good. And it's one of those things I kind of find frustrating because I'm sure you're perfectly good without it. They just get a load of money so they can stick a badge on the side of your van. It's a bit like black t-shirt, £5. Black t-shirt with an Armani sticker on the front of it, £50. It's black t-shirt, like Macklemore says. Why? But I also think if it makes you money and it gets you in the club, you go and do it, ain't you? Just one of those schemes, as RK says. Anyway, that's that. What else we got? Traffic wardens. Right. They are out. I did park on a single yellow in Soho, in fairness, and I did put a sticker in the van to say I was on a delivery. So normally, even on a normal Soho day, you might get away with that one. But Dave the Crisps, Mark Muffet, Paul Wilkes says they are all out. But interestingly, Adrian Tomlin says they're out, but they're not issuing tickets. He said, ask one. So what, they're out they're out for like a walk? Or, they're just out sort of, just out doing their exercise type thing, just out having a little sort of wander around. We'll have to wait and see. Out foraging. But, I wouldn't take anyone's word for it. Tom Page, something like that. He's doing the Ocado. He says, I'm in London and I'm getting away. He said, I'm getting away with murder at the moment, so I'm parking anywhere I like. I think the thing is they probably are out. They probably are less concerned. I wouldn't take the chance if you don't have to, but then if you do have to take the chance, you can probably be a little bit less worried about the possibility of maybe getting a ticket. Yeah, as we said, the other things, Steve Bradley says, no charges at the moment. Don't forget, guys, there's no congestion at the moment. There's no ULEZ. You can drive in the centre of London. They ain't going to hit you for 25 quid. I don't know. I don't know if it applies to the crossings. You know, like Dartford Crossing and I don't know about the toll roads. But yeah, certainly there's no charges in the zones and all that kind of stuff. And this was interesting. Harry's House says he got a speeding ticket, applied to go on the course, and the police rang him back and said, we can't do the course because of social distancing and cancelled the speeding ticket. So that was the result for you. Well done, my friend. Traffic wardens done. So what are we on now? Miscellaneous. I'm actually thinking about splitting Sunday's Q&A into two separate parts with an interval in the middle so you can go and buy ice cream or sweets from the foyer. Right, this is Harry's House again. He's got two vans at the moment. He's got a freezer and he's got a short wheelbase. And I think he said that he had to choose when he signed up. And I thought, well, I don't understand that. Because, I mean, you sign up for the CX, I think it's the same regardless of what van you have. So put me straight if I'm wrong. And then you tell them what van you want to have. Because, you know, I've had people before saying I can only, you know, if I'm only seeing alerts for like short wheelbase and under, and that's because they've got it in the settings, a short wheelbase and under. If you change it to a Luton or a 7.5 tonne, you can see settings for everywhere. So I would like to hope that I said to him, he rang me actually, and I said, well, why don't you just have it set for everything? Because one day you might decide to go out in the freezer van if there's a good job in the freezer van, and the next day a job might come up going distance with like one pallet, and you take the short wheelbase out the next day. If you've got two vans, there's no reason why you can't run them both. I don't think. It's only as long as it's just you. It's not you and your mates. I can't see why you can't choose which van to go to work in. But again, if anyone wants to put me straight, put me straight. Ian Williams has furloughed himself. And he says the 80% scheme is about to click into gear. And he says, you know, they're very ambitious about when he's going to get his money. If anyone else has done this, if they want to let me know, then and how they're getting on, it'll be interesting if you're going to go for the loan from the government or if you're going to go for the furlough scheme. We haven't. We've worked all the way through. Like I say, I was on 6 days a week and I'm now on 6 days a week. The work is harder. It's harder to find. I'm doing jobs that I would prefer not to do and I'm getting less money, but I am still working and I'm grateful for that. Andy P says, can you do a screenshot of the major cities of work that's available? Kind of doesn't work that way, unfortunately. The jobs will ping up one at a time and they'll be in big blocks. So at any one time, I could only do a screenshot of a couple of jobs. I could do a screenshot of, because I'm on the Small Fleet app as well, so it'll only show jobs, it shows jobs all over the country for me. It doesn't show jobs local to me. I could possibly do one on the map, but I don't think it would help me much. I'm not being awkward. I just don't. If you think of a way around this, let me know. But I'm not quite sure how I'd go about doing it. I know there's not so many out at the moment. The other thing you see is load alerts, which is how many load alerts there are, which will show load alerts around me and the vans that we've got running at the moment. And they're a fraction of, well, maybe a third of what they should be. But then, third is better than nothing. Right, what else have we got? Right, so there's a couple of things here. Starsky says you would do a 560-mile road trip, a 10-hour day for 250 quid. I don't quite know where that came from. Not ideally, no. But if there was nothing else there, I mean, the thing is, what you probably would, I think we're talking about, is like, I would drive to like, 280 miles to drop something off for 250 quid. And then come back empty. Well, ideally, what I would do, as Grant Melton says, he says you drove from London to Basingstoke for 40 quid. You've probably done 15 quid in diesel. Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't assume that when I got to Basingstoke, I would necessarily come back empty. And if I did those, the 280-mile trip, I would not want to come back empty. I'd like to hope I'm going to get something on the way back. Regarding the Basingstoke one, there's a lot of jobs that normally ping up around about 3 to 4 o'clock. And I know where they are. They're the Hermes stuff, and it's coming out of UB or it's coming out of Southall. So it's coming round the 25 on my way back, and I could have swerved in, picked it up, and then taken it to Hemel on my way home. They didn't ping up. But ultimately, I've got two choices. Sit in Brixton for a little while and then drive home empty, or then drive over to Basingstoke and then drive home empty. One of them earns me £25, the other one doesn't. 25 quid, 25 quid. It weren't difficult. Went up in the lift, got the laptop. Drove to someone's house, give her the laptop. Well, put it on the bin, or laptop's there. Right, MK Don says he's new to the CX and he asks, what is a backload? I think I've done a video on this. If not, if you go to the one I did a few days ago, there's a thing that mentions a load of terms. Hopefully that will help you out. There is a link to the video. If I get around to it, I'll do another link. Oh yes, he says yeah, I'll do a video. It's alternatively, apparently, if you go to my website, you can go to my website again. Stick a link up, and if not, there's an end screen now, so you can click on the end screen, take the website. Now there's a search function in the website which will take you to all of the videos I've ever done. So if you've got a question, if you just want to type in a keyword, there might be a video on it. Or as where do we go here? George Fraser says, apparently, if you go to my homepage on YouTube, it has the same function. I didn't know this. I don't know how to get. I don't know how you do that. But if you go to my homepage on YouTube, there's a search function. So if you want to type in a keyword, if you don't know something about something, and you've got to bear in mind it's just my opinion and I'm clueless. Go to the homepage on YouTube, type in pallet truck or type in ratchet strap, and there might be a video that helps you. And if there's not, give me a question and I'll do one. Or if I don't know, I'll ask everybody out there. I'll ask the wise sages that have been doing this much longer and much better than me, and they'll let me know. So there we go. Where are we going from this one? Are we near the end now? Oh, God. Gareth Vickers. Oh, yeah, cool. Gareth Vickers says, regarding the ID cards, because I said I've got that rubbishy ID card that I waked up. He said the photo ID people will give you a printed plastic card. That's kind of what you want. You want one that looks like a credit card. And he said it's very easy to use the site. I am going to give it a bash. If it comes out, I'll let you know. I'll do a video. He said he just wishes he'd put on a valid from date. Now, it costs you 20 quid for this card, which I guess if you put, when I put a valid, I might say it was valid for 2 years. But, so you've got, before you do the 20 quid, make sure that you've got all of the necessary information, like find out what it is that they want, get it all in there, bang it out, and then you've got a photo ID. He said, I said airport jobs, JCB apparently also require it, but JCB can be painful. You'll be queuing up for, unless you've just got a small box, in which case you can put it in the drop, you can be queuing up for ages in JCB, which is fine as long as the shipper's aware of it and is prepared to pay your waiting time. I'm always very wary of jobs that ping up and say must include an hour's worth of waiting time. I just add 25 quid an hour on. But then again, if they want to, plus must be prepared to wait for 2 hours. I bung on 50 quid. I'm not going to get the job. I don't want to sit there for 2 hours for nothing. Who wants to do that? And it's painful. What else have we got here? Ian Westwood. Oh yeah, put me straight. It's not when I said about the terms. It's BST is not British Standard Time. It's British Summer Time, which apparently is 1 hour ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. So I just think you just kind of, everybody knows what the time is. Everybody's got the same kind of time going on. The time on the radio, it's the time on BBC is when to deliver. So anyway, Harry Singh says, is it good to start at the present? It's a tricky one. The CX is not what it is at the moment, because everything is shut. Having said that, and I've had another couple of people ring us, and if you're doing nothing else, if you're sitting there and you've got no income and you've got a van, something is better than nothing. What I would say is, and if you are determined, if you're thinking, well, I do want to join, and when all this is over, I still want to join, so I might as well join now. I won't get anything like the amount of jobs that I will when all this is over, but at least I'll be able to educate myself onto how it works with empty roads, and then when the roads fill up again and everything gets a bit more stressful, I'll be one up on the deal. I would say if you think you're going to join, then why not? If you think you're going to join and carry on with it, then you can join now. If you're unsure of whether to join or not, if you join, I think you're going to be disappointed. You're going to go, well, there really isn't that much work there at the moment, because there isn't. Longfinger says, are they offering deals at the moment? Because his subscription's coming to an end and he's thinking of putting it. Mate, I don't know. I don't know. I would say ring them and say, look, it's coming. I'd barter with them. You can say, look, it's coming to an end. Obviously, we're in lockdown. What's the best you can do for me? That's what I would do. We're getting near the end now. Tiffy So Cornwall says, is an extra long wheelbase better on fuel than a Luton? Very marginally, because you haven't got the great big heavy box on the back. But for every penny you save on fuel, you're probably going to lose a job because you're just too small. I'd recommend Luton vans. I'm Luton with a tail lift and a box. I had to change a planet over with a guy over at Watling Street truck stop. It's got to go up to, I'm going to be in Hull, I'm going to be in Hull at about 8 o'clock on Monday morning. If anyone's got anything coming south from Hull in a Luton van, please let me know. 07970 723 884. You can ring me from 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday because I'm going to be driving to Hull. Or send me a text. Send me a text today. I'll see the text today. If it comes up with a number today, I'm just not going to answer it. So I won't cut the grass and then sit in the garden. But yeah. So what was I saying about that? Extra long wheelbase in a Luton. Can't remember I would just say for every job that you're going to gain on fuel, you're going to lose. I would always go, oh, that's right. The guy had a Luton with a box, and I had a Luton with a box. And we both said about the idea of curtain size. And we said, well, sometimes people prefer a box. You've got the security. You can't get it sliced inside. The joinery mob that I do my end user customer who's shut at the moment, I think they'll be happier with a box. Swings and roundabouts. Luton with a tail lift in the box for me every time. Although having said that, if I did get the opportunity for the next van to get a curtain side, I probably would. But if you want to run on a long wheelbase, you can still run long wheelbase, you can still extra long wheelbase rather. You can still run extra long wheelbase, medium wheelbase. On the multi-drop deliveries, they're much easier to get around the streets than mine. Longer but thinner. So ultimately, there's a video somewhere. You can search it. I might put a link up. What's the best van to buy in the CX? Choice is yours. And Johnny Be Good said, can you do one on overnight deliveries? I think I might have done, again, Johnny, if you want to type into the search bar or go to the website, which come on the end screen, which is coming soon. It's a welcome relief for all of you, I'm sure. I think there's one out there. If not, if there isn't, I forget what I've done, to be honest with you. There's hundreds of them now. If not, come back to me and I'll do you one. Right, just a quick one near the end now. Danny Boy, he said the end screen was back on, but he said a bit strange moving to the side, so I did that. Yeah, don't have to do that. Turns out I've worked out that you can actually move the things around the screen. I'm not technically minded. I got computer studies O-level, grade C. I used to say to people I'm good at computers. I'm not. I got that when I was 16. I'm 50, 34 years ago. I can kind of I'm not scared of them. I'm just not great at them because I've not done it. But slowly but surely, I'm learning. Harper Valentine says, he said, when I said it's only money, it made him smile because of what we used to make him shout on the markets. So we said, come on now, girls, it's only money. I got that from my mate Roger the Dodger. He was a funny man. He used to sell shirts. He was a little funny, very, very funny man. Some of the things about the markets were good. And finally, you'll be pleased to know, Huntington Don said, do I drink? And if so, what? Yes, I do. Everyone has a vice. I used to smoke. I give up. It didn't suit me. I still have the occasional one. It just makes me feel sick. But I drink Heineken because it used to be Heineken Export when I was a kid, and now they've got rid of the 3.5% nonsense, so it's like Heineken. So I have a beer when I come in from work. I drink Yellowtail Red because it's in the local store in Jasper's, and £6 a bottle, which I don't think is too much. I'll have a glass of wine with my dinner, or I have a glass of wine when I'm sitting with a wife, and I drink Highland Park whiskey. It's my favourite, although I drink that very, very, very rarely because I drive a van. And you can't drink whiskey and drive a van. Just have a beer when I come in, might have a couple of glasses of wine, maybe one with the wife, one with me dinner, job done. Guys, thanks very much. Thanks very much for all your contributions. It would be nothing without you. Thanks very much for all your fuel prices. Like I say, we'll try and get to the bottom of that. And in the meantime, I am now going to go. I've still got some computer stuff to do, and I've got to cut the grass. And I'm going to sit in my garden with a pint of Heineken. Thoroughly looking forward to it. It's a lovely day out there. Guys, take care, take money.